Hi, I'm Douglas Caballero, and we are here at Nikki Beach at the Spoke Club at the Toronto International Film Festival, and I am very excited to be sitting here with Cassian Elwes, who, if you printed out his resume, would go down the floor and out the door in terms of the films that he has helped produce, executive produce, distribute, and just be man behind the scenes. They include, I had to write them down, Dallas Buyers Club, you've executive produced, you produced The Butler. As head of independent film at William Morris before it became WME, you helped make The English Patient, Sling Blade, and Monsters Ball, to name just a few of many. So you've done a lot in your time.
Yeah.
And so thank you for sitting down with us.
That's absolutely my pleasure.
And I want to jump into making these films. I don't even know where to start almost, but you specifically work with independent film, generally speaking. What's when someone comes to you with a project and the script is fantastic, what is the first thing you concern yourself with as to whether or not you even want to be a part of it?
Well, the first thing that I think about is it a movie that I personally would like to see? That was actually kind of less of the criteria at William Morris. At William Morris, it was more about, is this a client-related thing where we've got to do it? The client demands that we make their movie happen somehow or other. And some of the movies were films that I really had a personal affection for, things that I personally was excited about. Some of them were not. It was a difficult job that way because, you know, you could put your heart and soul into actually making something happen, knowing full well that the result was not going to be great. And there were quite a few examples, which I won't go into because I don't want to malign some of those people that were involved.
We would love to hear those terrible stories.
But you know, there were a lot of times where the client, their agent, would come to me and go, "You've got to make this movie happen." The client's walking out of the door. You know, this is you got to save the client. They've got this pet project. They've been trying to make it for years. You must make it happen. And so I would struggle to get the movie financed, knowing full well that it was really just deferring a problem because 6 months later, this turkey would reappear in my lap, and then the client would go, "Okay, now what do we do? Now I want to see my movie in New York and Los Angeles. Now I want to see it all over the world. I want to go to this film festival. I want to go to that film festival." And you go, "Oh my God." And you'd sit there and go, you know, "Okay, this is what we should do, this is what we should do." And, you know, I'm a fairly calm guy, and I think that's part of the reason why I was in that job for a long time is that I'm pretty zen about this stuff. And you know, I've seen a lot of great movies and a lot of not so great movies. I've worked on a combination of those things, and I know when something's good. I know when I see a movie. I can't tell you what it's going to be, whether it's going to be good or not, particularly at the very beginning part. My taste in that area is getting better now as I get a little bit older and I've worked on a lot of movies. I kind of know if it's going to be a good movie or not, just when sitting with the director, reading the script, thinking about the actors, visualizing the picture in my head, what's going to happen. At the very beginning, when I first started my career, I wasn't really sure. I would read the script and go, "Oh, this sounds great," and "Oh yeah, I want to work with that actor." Never really thinking about what the combination of those, the director and those actors and the material would result in. And you know, some of the films I made when even before I was an agent, I can't say that I'm particularly proud of, and some of them I really am. You know, but it was it was a bit more of a crapshoot then. Now, as I worked my way through William Morris and started to working on much classier kind of movies and more important directors and better writers and bigger movie stars, I started to get a real feel for what would make a great movie. And I think, you know, if you look through my work too, I think you'll see my own level of taste in terms of the types of films that I wanted to be involved in. And yes, there are some films along the way there that were client-related stuff where I go, "Okay, we got to do it." But there were some really great pitches there too. And I don't think of so much the huge ones that were successful. You know, Monsters Ball won Halle Berry the Oscar, and that was the first African American lady that had won Best Actress. Hattie McDaniel had won it for Best Supporting Actress many years before, obviously. I really thought about that movie in the struggle of making the picture and how to raise the money to do that. And so going back to your first part of it, it's like, how do you do it? What do you do when you read something and you see something that you want to do? The first thing you do is, okay, how am I going to do this? how am I going to raise the money for this movie? Where am I going to shoot the movie? How am I going to put the tax credits together if I can? You know, we've gone through many phases in the 30 years that I've been making movies of different tax credits, different countries, different states in America. There's always something new, some new advantage that you can bring to the table and make it part of the equation of the making of the movie. And then how am I going to sell the international rights for this movie? How am I going to sell the movies in America? I determined very early on, and now it's done pretty much this way by everybody, that it would be better for the filmmakers and the actors and everybody involved in the movie if I could somehow or other figure out a way to make the movie without arranging for the US distribution before the film was made. Because you know, from a selfish point of view, as an agent, I could make money from selling the American rights for that movie when it was done. But more importantly, I wouldn't sell it to a company who would then see it later and go, you know, it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, it's not quite the movie I was expecting, and then not really do a great job on it. If I could figure out a way to get the movie financed and put the whole thing together without US distribution, then when the movie was done, I could show it to all the US distributors and find the one that was really excited about handling the movie, and that would really benefit the client because at least it was somebody who was really gung-ho about it.
And that tactic is something that you innovated?
Pretty much.
Huh.
And you know, and I can't say, oh, I invented this, but you know, there were a lot of incredible film financiers that predated me. There were agents that had sort of dabbled in it a little bit, but I really institutionalized it. I really turned the agency, we created a whole department that was only working on independent films.